There were video game awards, there was a PlayStation State of Play, and a Nintendo Indie Showcase. We got a lot to cover this week, so let's get right to it. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Today is Friday, December 13th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Like I said in my cold open, the Video Game Awards were last night. I watched all 4 hours of I watched like 3.5 hours of the presentation. I watched it a little late. Actually, went pretty late for me. But anyway, the Video Game Awards happened last night, and so the king crown of the Video Game Awards has been given out. And I'll get right to that. But the entire presentation started with like a half an hour where they kind of gave off a few smaller awards like Esports Game of the Year and a couple others. But when the show actually started getting up and running, the first thing that was actually talked about was the Xbox Series X, which is the official name for the Xbox Scarlet console. So the next console for Xbox that is releasing next year is called the Xbox Series X. If you haven't seen a picture of it yet, you really should. They've gone with I think it's a somewhat unique design for a console manufacturer, but I'm okay with the design of it because it kind of reminds me of a computer tower, maybe a slightly thinner and taller computer tower. But yeah, so I've heard a lot of people saying like they don't like the aesthetic. Microsoft confirmed today that you can flip it on its side, so it's just going to be a very square, elongated square prism of a console. I think it looks cool. I might even stand it up because I think it looks a little bit better that way. Might stand out a little bit better, but anyway, the game they said it's going to be twice as powerful as the Xbox One X, which is already the most powerful console on the market right now. So they're promising a lot, and I hope that everything lives up to the expectations. The next thing they showed after that was they had like Nordic chanting going on in the background, and then it cuts. They said everything captured in the highest power and created for this. So first comes up the Ninja Theory logo, and then you hear this like Nordic chanting, and there's starting to be symbols, and then you see Senua from Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, and oh my god, it looked amazing, it sounded amazing. And for those who don't know, I stream that game, or I try to stream that game once a year on the anniversary of it coming out because I think it's a phenomenal game. I also like games that try and tackle mental health issues, which is somewhat of the point of the game. So just the fact that they're working on one. I don't remember if there was a date for that or not, but it was a great way to start off the Video Game Awards last night. No surprise that Xbox is having some big announcements at the Video Game Awards that takes place at the Microsoft Theater. So a lot of things were kind of tilted towards Xbox, which I was kind of okay with. But it really seems like the Video Game Awards have kind of taken on. They're trying to make it more of. I think Jeff's trying to make it more of a platform to like announce games at. Everything he said, every time it became a meme, maybe even a drinking game. Every time he said world premiere, you'd probably died if you took a shot. But everything he said, he was like world premiere, world premiere, world premiere. It's like, yes, anytime we are seeing a trailer at a specific place, it's a world premiere. So it was kind of redundant, but it was funny how hard he was trying to beat that drum. But besides the Xbox X Series, there wasn't a lot of big announcements. League of Legends, or Riot Forge, as they are now calling themselves, they had two of their single player game announcements. One of which was called Convergence. I don't remember what the other one was called, but it had something to do with like Thresh and like the evil pirate island or something like that. So there's two single player games that are in development. We got Ghost of Tsushima. Not gameplay, but we got an extended view of Ghost of Tsushima, as well as a narrowed down release date, which said summer 2020. So I don't know if that's like June to September timeframe or what that means, but we've at least narrowed it down to not just 2020 as a whole, but summer of 2020. But that was kind of it for like big AAA video game announcements. Actually, besides that, um, PlayStation did have a big announcement. They had Godfall, which was what they called a looter slasher. So like instead of like a looter shooter, it was basically a looter shooter, only you're using like swords and slashing and action RPG ish. So they called it a looter slasher. The game was called Godfall, brand new IP. Game looked interesting. The looter slasher, anybody who's a big fan of looter shooters would probably be a fan of turning that into a fantasy game and then slashing people up and getting loot that way. So that looked cool, but the big announcement was that this was going to be like the first PS5 exclusive. I don't know if it was exclusive or not. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but it was going to be the first PS5. It officially said PS5 at the end of the trailer, so this game is coming out on the PS5. It was kind of like a subtle way of saying, hey, we've got games coming to the PS5 as well. I don't know if it's going to be exclusive or not. I think they didn't like tag exclusive at the end, so hopefully it comes out for PS4 as well. But like most people, I'm going to be jumping on to the Xbox X Series and the PS5 as soon as they come out anyway. But that might not be people's decisions. But yeah, as far as like other AAA titles, I think those were kind of like the big announcements. They had a lot of indie games. Jeff Keighley kept talking about Canadian developers. He kept bringing them up and talking about the games they're working on, like the studio behind Prey and it wasn't Arcane, right? But the studio behind Prey and a couple other titles they're working on. Oh God, I forget what they're working on. But so you had like a couple smaller developers that brought them forward, and then they had a lot of indie developers. So it was it was a pretty cool way to fill in between the actual awards. And speaking of the actual awards, our King Game of the Year was Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. I was in the control camp, but I'm not upset about it because I was only in the control camp because I was in the not Death Stranding camp. I haven't played Death Stranding, but unfortunately, I have a strong gut feeling of watching gameplay that I just didn't think it deserved Game of the Year. I heard better things about Sekiro and Control. They got higher reviews, so thankfully, and besides the AMA that said the integrity was going to be held, I didn't want Death Stranding walking away with everything just because Kojima is close friends with Jeff Keighley. But yeah, so Sekiro won. It also got Action Adventure Game of the Year. But the one of the big pieces of news was Disco Elysium walking away with 4 of the awards: Fresh Indie Game, Best Indie Game. I think there was a technical award that they won, and I can't remember all 4 of them right now. But Disco Elysium took the cake. So I was planning on playing Plague Tale, which didn't win anything. I was planning on playing Control. I was planning on playing possibly Death Stranding, but apparently I have to drop all that to play Disco Elysium because I got 4 of the Game Awards last night. So congrats to them. The game looks amazing. It looked like a good RPG. So hopefully you tell me what the game's like down below, and hopefully I'll be playing it sometime in the near future. So that was the Video Game Awards. That was a lot, but let me know what you thought of the presentation. Let me know what you thought of the picks of the awards. Let me know what you thought of the announcements, because I really like the Game Awards. So I enjoy them every year, and it becomes it's a whole thing at my household. So I just really like watching them, playing along, scratching off, selecting which ones I think would win and which ones got it. So overall, I really enjoyed the Game Awards this year. Not quite as big as previous years. I think last year with Mortal Kombat and Smash Bros. Might have been a little bit bigger and more front of mind, but I still think that this one knocked it out of the park, and Xbox really took the cake with announcing their new consoles. So looking forward to next year's Video Game Awards. I love that. I just really like the Game Awards. So let me know what you thought. Moving right along, PlayStation had their final State of Play for the year. These are the PlayStation kind of Nintendo Directs. And This one was short and sweet. It was about 30 minutes. They talked about Ghost of Tsushima. That was at the end. That was kind of like the stinger at the end of the video. They really started off strong with Resident Evil 3 Remake, which, you know, I thought was awesome. I only played like half of Resident Evil 2 Remake, but I want more of those Resident Evil games. Like I said, I started playing Resident Evil with 7, so going back and bringing those to people who didn't play them like me is always a good thing. So yeah, keep bringing them forward, keep playing them. I'm looking forward to playing that. I think the date was sometime in April. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then they kind of like spitfired a couple more. Untitled Goose Game is coming to PlayStation Now. Yeah, so you got that. What else? The Predator Hunting Grounds, the asymmetrical Predator versus like 4 players game. I think that got a firm release date, but I don't remember what it was. It was like Q1 sometime. So if you're looking forward to any of those games, but this one was pretty short and sweet. This one was just about as maybe unimpressive as the last ones have been. This one didn't like blow my socks off, but it kept a good cadence, and it kept me interested in seeing what the next games were and what's coming out. I don't know if this is a good replacement for press conferences or PSX, but you know it does somewhat of a good job. So let me know what you think of the PlayStation State of Plays and the games they announced last week or this week. Nintendo also had an indie showcase. I'm usually super happy by these because I keep my it's funny, I have like a wish list of Steam games and I just wait for those games to come to Switch, and then I'm super happy when they like announce like, oh, Slay the Spire is coming to Switch. So I pretty much have a Steam wish list just so I can wait till those games come on to Switch. But so the Nintendo Indie Showcase happened this week. This one was even shorter. This was like 20 minutes. They just rapid fire shot out like 10 titles. They gave like 2 minutes and they just like kept rolling and rolling and rolling through. The big notable ones were there's a sequel to Golf Story, which was like a 9 out of 10. I don't remember if it was like last year or the year before, but Golf Story had like a really cool, just like a really cool, I don't know, like open world golf game, which I thought was just so weird. But the game got like 9. It reviewed really well, and so I'm really glad to see that this game's getting a sequel. This one's called like Sports Story, and now it's gonna like got puzzles in it, and you're walking around the world with your golf club, and then all of a sudden you could just fall into playing tennis or hockey or baseball, and so like all of a sudden you take this like golfer and you put him in like a pseudo open world puzzly game. It looks fun. I didn't play Golf Story, but I heard really good things about it, and I might pick this one up and see if I want to go back and play the first one. But that game looked really cool. And then one other one that really stood out to me was a game called Super Mash. This was like an homage to like classic games. What it is there's like 10 or 20 game genres, like JRPG or platformer, and I think there's like first person shooter and perspective, and they change all that. So what you do is you take two of these like classic genres, and they had like your Zelda like and your roguelike and your this like and your platformer, and you take 2 of those and you cram them together, and then you just play through whatever kind of game that this algorithm spits out. So yeah, you put platformer and JRPG together, and now all of a sudden you have this like action, turn-based game, but you also have to do like jump puzzles. It looked like a really good. I think they even mentioned that it is like a very much intended to be an homage to like those classic like games that just really inspired a lot of game developers. So I think the game looks awesome. Graphics looked amazing. I'd love to see all the references that take place during mashing up multiple different games together. So yeah, but overall I'm usually more impressed with the indie showcases, and this one kind of usually because I like latch onto one really important thing that I've been waiting for forever. But yeah, those games look cool. Let me know if you saw any games that you were excited for that I glossed over. Moving right along, lots of Fortnite news. Fortnite was actually at the Video Game Awards. They talked about how they're going to have a Star Wars premiere at Risky Reels in the world of Fortnite. at Risky Reels, they are going to on tomorrow. They're going to play a section of. They're going to play like an extended uh, clip from the next Star Wars movie, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. So I won't be home for it, but I definitely want to see that. I want to know what it's all about. Ever since the Marshmallow concert, I've been kind of really interested in like these like in-game events that kind of happen, along with all of the season changes and the black hole. Fortnite's just doing a lot of good marketing, a lot of good things, a lot of good partnerships. So congrats to them. I'm excited to see what it looks like to be in Fortnite watching Star Wars, which should be interesting. Also saw an article about Fortnite potential. This one's more in the realm of rumors, and the video games industry is really good at cranking out rumors. There is a potential rumor for a Fortnite annual pass. I think a lot of us analysts have been wondering when this is going to happen for a long time. Maybe they've been making a lot of money on the $10 battle pass and rolling it over, that they didn't need it. But yeah, I think we've been waiting for a Fortnite annual pass for a while, and so I think that could be something that's coming to fruition sometime soon. And then last but certainly not least, at least about Fortnite, is there was an update that rolled out, and you can now play squads and duos couch co-op, which I'm surprised it kind of took them this long to get that integrated, but that sounds awesome, being able to play couch co-op with Fortnite. Now I can actually like have friends over, and even if my friends don't play Fortnite, as long as I have it on a console, we can all just sit down and kind of play it and see if we've lost all of our skill, or that one friend who's still really good can show off their skills. So that's a lot of Fortnite news for you. Some of which is rumor, but hope you enjoyed that. Redbox, the vending machine of movies and TV shows, is no longer doing video games. So Redbox put out an article this week, or not put out an article, but made a statement this week that they were no longer going to be renting video games through their vending machines. I don't know if this is a reflection upon physical being dead. I made a quip about it in my email, but I think. Yeah, I just think that model of renting physical games to people is starting to die off, especially with the growth of subscription services. I think, I mean, that's as soon as I think Netflix killed Blockbuster, and this is the same kind of retort. So you have Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now killing Redbox renting of games. I think Redbox is still going to be fine selling or renting TV, movies, all that kind of stuff, but the fact that they're getting out of the game space probably doesn't bode well. But physical is not completely dead. We're waiting for GameStop to die off until physical dies. But yeah, physical won't ever truly go away, but I'm just kind of being facetious about it. Twitch is finally standing up and claiming their territory. They've signed exclusive contracts with some of their biggest streamers. So Tim the Tatman, Dr. Lupo, and Lyric are now signed on as full-time Twitch streamers. They can't jump to a different platform like all these other people. So Twitch is finally reading the writing on the walls. They're tired of getting their big streamers bought out by Mixer and Facebook and YouTube. So they're signing contracts now. I don't... Obviously, they're probably only going to do this at the top levels, but I don't know if any of that's going to like trickle down to more contract signing. But one of the things that I always think about when I'm thinking about all these deals of people switching platforms is like everything's good and hunky-dory and signing these like contracts at the upper level sounds great, but I think the way that a platform grows is at the middle, or even at the foundation of the smaller streamers. So I'm wondering what it looks like. How do you keep those people from migrating one way or the other? And I don't have an answer for that, but I'm just curious every time I think about these kind of things. Moving right along, again, the end of the year is always a time for reflection. So I found an article this week about, or there was I think it's a GameSpot video talking about the best remakes of 2019. I thought it was a pretty good list. The ones that jump to the top of my mind are Link's Awakening and Resident Evil 2. So, you know, I think it was the top 5 or so. Yeah, I don't hate remakes. I think remakes get a lot of negative buzz around them because people want new games, but I think I'm not perfectly fine exclusively playing games I've already played before, but I'm fine with a fully fleshed out, up-resed 4K game from the 90s. I'm okay with that because you take something that I loved in the 90s and give it back to me. I'm fine with that. But I do also want new and exciting IPs. But I was excited for all of these remakes. I'm excited for Final Fantasy VII remake. I'm excited for Resident Evil 3 remake. Yeah. A little bit out of the realm of video games, but a Pokemon TV show has been announced, and it is going to take place in the Galar region. That is the region that you explore in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And considering I've now put, 50, 100 hours into that game, I'm excited to see what the TV show does. Also haven't watched a Pokemon TV show in forever, so again, might be a cool way to interact with, or at least see some stories behind the Galar region. But let me know what you think of that TV show down below. Last but certainly not least, Choose Your Own Adventure TM. So this week, a group of indie developer, as well as like a couple descriptors for games on Steam, were hit with trademark infringement for using the phrase "choose your own adventure." So I don't know how that works. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know very much legalese, but the phrase "choose your own adventure" is apparently trademarked. And I don't know how that works, but I don't know how you can trademark something like that. Yeah, I'm just kind of baffled with it. I'm wondering how these will shake out, whether or not they'll fall in favor with whoever is making the claims, or if Choose Your Own Adventure is too ubiquitous to trademark. But yeah, I heard about that, and so I scratched my head wondering what's that all about. So more to come on that, but let me know what you think of which way it'll fall. But I don't have any more details than the fact that it happened. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this content. If you do, please follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch. Links down in the description below so you can see more great content like this. Thanks again, and I hope you have a super day. Hope you have a super weekend, and I hope you have a super day.